It's Les Person, FlightWise fear of flying psychologist and other anxieties too. Welcome to early June 2021. Melbourne, where I live, is back in lockdown. We had a number of cases reported. They spread far and wide very quickly, and the government brought in another lockdown. We're limited to 5 kilometres from home, basic shopping, and it's a form of lifestyle we're going to have to get used to. Not easy for everybody. It's okay for me. I can work from home and use Zoom to do all my patient work. I have been doing that for over a year now, and at my standing desk, which is how I record these things. So I'm getting a little bit more healthy doing that. But there are other people doing it really tough. So I wish everybody the best. America, you've come around. You're doing good now, which is great. So keep going with your vaccinations and with your safe distancing and your mask wearing if you can. Now, last year, or maybe just the year before, I commenced a multi-part series on self-talk, concept that comes across very often when you are working on trying to change your behavior. And depending on what sort of approach you're going to take, if you see a psychologist who's been well trained in cognitive behavior therapy, you're going to hear this concept of self-talk. I recorded 2 about self-talk in 2019, 2020, and I promised to do a third one, and so I'm going to do a third one now, but it's a little different than what you might be expecting. We're going to be using some videos from a television show, now deceased, called The Big Bang Theory, which some of you may know about. About 90% of my patients, when I suggest these videos, know about the show. Even if they're not great fans, they know of the show. So I'll talk about that in a little moment. I did have the chance in season 1, when Big Bang had just started in the United States, it hadn't come to Australia yet, to actually go and see the show. Unfortunately, I got lost on my way to Burbank, where it's recorded, and we got there just slightly too late. They'd overbooked, and we missed out on actually going to sit where we're like the 4th set of people, and we missed out. We got a little card that said you can come to the next taping, but of course we were flying back to Australia the next day, and now the show's finished, so we missed out on that one. Never mind. So I want to talk to you about self-talk. There are 2 types of self-talk I want to refer to. One of them is known as the automatic self-talk, where you don't have to kind of contemplate or think about what it is you want to say. That's the automatic stuff that you do when you whack yourself on the finger, where you get a splinter, where someone says something to you and you either freeze or you just blurt something out. It requires very little attention, very little thought. It's quite automatic. So the self-talk can be divided up into this sort of automatic self-talk, and usually only requires 1 or 2 words, and it will get your threat response system, housed in your limbic system midbrain, into vigilant mode. Like, okay, I've been sent a message, stay vigilant, something's happening here, we're under threat, and all it requires you to do is have a couple of words like, oh my God, what the, and you don't have to finish the sentence off. These are sort of alarm bells going off without needing to know, well, what's caused the alarm to go off. It just gets the alarm going, and you better do something about this. Okay? So that's the automatic kind of self-talk. The other kind of self-talk that psychologists often talk about is a more reflective kind of talk, which gets to what's called fundamental beliefs, sometimes referred to as core beliefs, sometimes referred to as schema-based beliefs. These are the way we kind of hold the world together, the beliefs we have about how things should operate in the world, how I should operate in the world, how the world should treat me, how I ought to treat people, so forth and so on. This is where we have concepts of fairness and the right things to do and ethical behavior, and beliefs about what's safe and what's not safe. Okay, so they're not quite automatic, but they can take on automatic, unchallenged, unappraised qualities because we repeat them over and over again. This little clip from History of the World Part 1, where Moses, played by Mel Brooks, goes up to the mountain and collects the Word of God in the form of tablets. Have a look.
All pay heed. The Lord Jehovah, has given unto you these 10 commandments for all to obey.
So I often use this one where, there are 15 original commandments and now we're down to 10 because, well, Moses dropped one. The idea behind this is that sometimes we need to re-examine these core beliefs and ask, are they still useful for us? Where did they come from? Were they useful a generation ago or 2 generations ago? We've simply kind of hand-me-down these beliefs, and maybe it's time that they are reappraised and looked at and challenged. So that's what some forms of cognitive therapy are looking for. Not just the automatic ones, but also perhaps where the automatic ones came from, but also some of these core beliefs about how the world is meant to operate. And sometimes we've got to question whether those beliefs are tenable any longer. The videos I want to show you today kind of go along that route, and it's an interaction between both Penny and Sheldon, the 2 main characters who at one stage during the life of the Big Bang Theory were America's top paid actors, I think earning over $1 million an episode. Set them up for life, as you might imagine. And many people who are fans of the Big Bang Theory felt that the interaction between these two was really a highlight of the show. Just, if you don't know the show, let me just quickly remind you that young Penny here has come from Nebraska, trying to be an actress in California. She has moved into the apartment opposite that where Sheldon lives with another member of the cast. And there's this interaction that goes on between Sheldon and Penny that becomes a running joke throughout the entire series. And this is the one where Sheldon knocks on Penny's door and says, "Penny, Penny, Penny." Okay, I'll show you that in a moment. Just to remind you, Sheldon is a physicist, I think it's a physicist, or mathematician, at a very high level of genius, shall we say, but somewhere along the way didn't quite develop the sort of social skills that the others in the show take for granted. Some people would say he's an Aspie, he's on the Asperger's or the autism spectrum disorder, very high functioning, but kind of missed out a little bit on the social skills part, to the point where if the whole group is together and all the cast is together and they're making a joke and everyone's laughing except Sheldon might whisper to someone, "I'm supposed to laugh at that, aren't I?" So he picks up that he's not getting it, but he's supposed to get to it. Penny, on the other hand, comes from Nebraska, feet on the ground, never really has hung out with the nerds who are the guys of Big Bang Theory, and she's hung around with the jocks in her high school, and she's now working as a waitress where the crew of Big Bang go and hang out. So she's moved into her apartment. Let's show you the very first time that Sheldon greets Penny with a knock on the door because he needs a lift to work. Let's have a quick look at that, shall we? I'll just get out of the way. There I go.
Penny? Penny? Penny?
Sheldon, what is it?
Leonard's asleep.
Thanks for the update.
No, wait. You have to drive me to work.
Yeah, I really don't think I do.
But I don't drive.
So I'll just stop it there, and that gives you an idea of the very first time that Penny and Sheldon had this little interaction, which becomes the running joke of knock on the door, knock on the door, knock on the door. And you can see this first time she's a little bit taken aback, not just by this sort of knocking, but also by the request. This knocking becomes a joke, and so I want to share with you the video. I don't usually show the video I've just shown you to patients, but the next one I am going to show you. I'm going to stop it at various times and show you why I show it to you and how it can be important to acknowledge what self talks about. Let's have a quick look. I'll set this up for you, and it starts off here with Sheldon. Get myself out the way. With Sheldon sitting on this red chair that that Penny has found. I will remind you, if you don't know much about Sheldon, that he keeps a very close watch on his own particular habits and hygiene and cleanliness and any particular contamination that might come his way. And Penny's a little bit looser around such things. So let's have a quick look, and I will stop it at various parts, but let's set this up. Penny, in fact, has found a chair on the sidewalk, and Sheldon doesn't quite know this yet. And watch his reaction when Penny tells him that this comfortable chair that she's found, what its source is.
I must say, I'm enjoying your new chair.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
It is. Aligns the lumbar, cradles the coccyx, balances the buttocks. This is a chair worthy of the name.
What name?
Chair.
All right, well, I'm glad you like it. I mean, I still can't get over the fact someone just threw it away.
What?
Yeah, it was just sitting on the street. I paid a homeless guy $10 to help me get it up here.
Dear. Oh, dear.
What is wrong?
I've been sitting in garbage.
Sheldon, take it easy.
You take it easy. How do you use your shower?
I went into this marriage with so much hope.
There's a wet Band-Aid on the shower floor. Penny.
Yellow.
You need to remove that chair from the building. It's a health hazard.
Okay, relax. I took off the slip covers, had them dry clean, and then fumigated the cushions.
Really?
Yeah, it's cleaner than my couch. Found half a hot pocket in there.
It certainly looks okay. Has a strong toxic chemical smell. That's reassuring.
Why don't you give it a try, Sheldon?
All right. It is a comfortable chair.
Why don't you just admit you overreacted?
No, thank you. It's like living with a chihuahua.
So I'll just stop it there for a moment. As you know, that was an imaginative scene. It's part of Sheldon's fear of contamination and bugs and all sorts of things. And now he's about to head over to Penny and do his usual penny, in order to do something about this seat. And I want you in particular to watch what Penny's reaction to this. This is important, and I'll stop it as soon as this interaction takes place. Have a look.
Penny.
What's up, Buttercup?
You have to get rid of the chair.
Nope.
So I'll just stop it there. Penny, you have to get. She answers him, what's up, Buttercup? You have to get rid of the chair, and she simply goes, no. And I want to suggest to you that this is a little interaction between your limbic system calling out a threat response. You've got to do something. You can't catch that plane. You've got to get off. You've got to do some special distraction. And you've got to come back, as Penny does, and say, nope, and just close the door on it. Easier said than done. This requires practice using video, using chairs, going out to the airport if you can, watching the YouTube videos like mine, and just practicing getting used to this interaction between part of you that's going to go, you can't do this, you've got to get rid of that chair, or in this case, you've got to get rid of going on this trip, you've got to get rid of sitting in the wrong seat, you've got to get rid of taking that flight at 11 because you really need to go to the bar at 1 to get a little bit before you fly. The sort of safety behaviors that I've talked about in these videos. Okay? So with Penny shutting the door on Sheldon's threat response, he's going to up the ante. And each time he knocks on the door, watch as his level of distress and anger and deliberate, "Come on, Penny," goes up. And watch how she stays cool each time. Have a look.
Penny. Penny. Penny.
What's the word, Hummingbird?
For your safety, please wait in my apartment as I call the authorities so they may remove the chair of death.
No.
And again, he's up the ante, locks it a little bit harder. She has her saying to him, what's the word, Hummingbird, what's up, Buttercup, whatever it might be, to try and sort of say, I'm chilled here. And he's taken aback by this. And notice that each time he gets taken aback, he kind of confabulates, he makes up little stories. He kind of elaborates upon the original story that this is dangerous and starts to add new things to it, which are simply not true. And that ought to remind you of how you can yourself accumulate beliefs and ideas, you know, keep on watching Air Crash Investigate and listening to friends talking about their awful flights and so forth, and you can take on board more and more, which is taking you further and further away from solving this problem. Watch now as Sheldon ups the ante one more time.
Penny. Penny. Penny.
What's the gist, physicist?
And I want you to see that as much as he's getting more and more worked up, she's staying chill and cool. And there's a clue here. What's the gist, physicist? And what we want to listen for now is that all the other stuff hasn't worked. So Sheldon ups the ante one more time and confabulates even more things. Have a listen.
Under my authority as a self-appointed member of the Centers for Disease Control Street Team, these premises are condemned. As a man with a keen sense of style, I must tell you, that chair does not work with the room.
So you can see how he's moving his story around, finding even more reasons why that chair must be removed, and she just says no and closes the door on him. This is something for you to practice. These thoughts are going to keep coming up like Sheldon, knock, 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 penny, 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 and you're going to have to be there and say, what's up, physicist? What's up, Buttercup? And just close it down, knowing that these are just parts of your brain spitting out scary kind of ideas which can be shown to be untrue, but they feel scary while they're happening. This goes on a little bit longer.
Penny, Penny. Penny.
So she throws it back at him, that scary thing. You've got to take charge of your scary thing and show it and say, I'm not scared by this at all. Pick it up and throw it back and say, I'm not scared at all. Of course, Sheldon being Sheldon has to run up after he runs away and do one more. He can't let it go, penny, penny. So this is going to be part of your limbic system. Always keep pushing on you. Always keep pushing your buttons, little tiny bits to have you have doubt. But you've got to act like Penny here and say, no, I'm running the show here. I'm chill. I know what I'm doing here. Okay? I hope you found this entertaining and interesting. Just about everybody that I've shown it to in my practice over Zoom really enjoys this, whether they are fans of Big Bang or not. And I usually locate this video for them on YouTube. They download it and they can remind themselves what to do. But it does require you to have practice. Come up with your own What's the Gist physicist for yourself. Okay? Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to subscribe, there'll be more videos coming soon. Take care of yourselves. Speak soon. Bye for now.